What's going on, people, and welcome back to totalizspurs. United this weekend, Sunday morning for us here in Australia. Before I get into it, though, guys, make sure you are liking and subscribing to the channel. Make sure you're liking that content and sharing our content around, and hit that notification bell button down below so you can get all future content and notifications for that. United at home for Ange's first Premier League game of the season of his tenure here at Tottenham. And I'm a bit double-sided about it. We saw some good signs there at Brentford, even though we didn't get the result that we wanted. I felt like we were the more dominant team, very much controlling possession. Very hard to break down a good Brentford team defensively. 11 men behind the ball pretty much the whole entire game, and some poor calls from the ref himself. There were some pretty poor calls in the United game too. We'll get into that, especially about the penalty for Sonny. I don't know how they can call Son's tackle a penalty, but then not call Onana's. United are coming off the back of a win, beat Wolves 1-0, should have been 1-1. The ref has come out and said later on that John Moss has said they should have given a penalty to Wolves, but we won't get into too much of that because it doesn't really apply for us right now. So no big news this week coming out of Tottenham. No transfers, no ins, no outs. A lot of rumours about players going out, the likes of Tanguy and Ndombele. Sanchez has been brought up again. Eric Dyer has been linked to Saudi Arabia, thank God. But nothing new on the Tottenham front. But going into United, there's a lot of things that we can be happy about from Brentford. The style of play, the intensity, the way we controlled the match. Some of the players, the likes of Maddison, Basuma, Adoji, really showing what they can do. But there was also some weak areas. I felt like Skip wasn't too good. Was a passenger the whole game. Son and Kulusevski just really did not create anything down those wings for me. The movement wasn't there. I feel like they're still adjusting to the new system, especially Kulu, considering that Juve, he didn't really play much at Juve, came in only know Conte's system. I do feel like he's more of a number 8, number 10 attacking mid player. The way he plays, he'd be really good, as we saw at the end of last season, going through the middle, using his bulk and his dribbling ability and his passing range to kind of complement Maddison's trickiness by protecting the ball, 1-2ing, finding those spaces, and having shots outside the box, because we all know he can score some wicked bangers with that left foot. But for me, even though Richarlison didn't have much to work off, I don't think he did enough off the ball either for this game. And I felt this way against Brentford too. I feel like Sonny through the middle with Solomon on the left, or Perisic, maybe more so Perisic, purely because he's looked the better, or he's looked better than Kulu. If we're going off form, it technically should be Solomon and Perisic starting, and Kulu and probably Richarlison being dropped, and Son playing in that striker role. For me, I think Son playing in that striker role is the next step. I don't think Richie is going to be the man. I just don't think he has the goals in him, or the kind of player that we need. I do think he suits the system in terms of playing through the middle, playing that quick passing, more attacking, being more creative, getting in behind the line. I just don't know if he's the guy to do it. It just hasn't shown enough so far for me in a Spurs shirt, but I'm hoping he proves me wrong, because then it's a waste of a 60 mil. But I would prefer Son through the middle, see how that goes. However, it is a United game, and we probably have been training predominantly with Richarlison in that role. So I'm happy for them to play Richarlison if that's what Ange feels comfortable with. I will say, though, I hope Ange isn't feeling down that his lovely Matildas lost against England on Wednesday night here in Australia. I was definitely going for England, showing my roots. A lot of my friends and family here obviously living in Australia, were rooting against us. But congratulations to the Lionesses. I hope they can actually bring the World Cup trophy home and show the men's team how to really do it. So congratulations to those girls. Hopefully on Sunday, having a little shindig at my house on Sunday, just before the game. It's at 8 o'clock here in Australia, so I'm going to have a little England party with my family before that. But going back to Tottenham and United this weekend, United played a 4-1-4-1. Casemiro playing in that DM role. They used Mount instead of Ericsson next to Bruno Fernandes. And Anthony Garnacho on the wings with Rashford up front. Now, I'm not too fussed if they play Anthony or Sancho on that right-hand side. I don't think either of them have done enough to warrant their transfer fee or to warrant their ability and their hype. I think they're overhyped. But I think that Garnacho kid's got a bit of something about him. The way he plays, he just has an oozing confidence. It reminds me of a half the skill level, but a young Ronaldo, where he's not afraid to go for it. Now, I'm not comparing him to Ronaldo. There's no one that's been like Ronaldo in the Premier League before. Ronaldo, when he was at United, when he first came in, was ridiculous. But he is a good little player. And with Casemiro sitting in that midfield protecting the back four, it's going to be hard for us. But I mean, I laugh because I think this player isn't good enough. Mason Mount, if they play Mason Mount over Ericsson, we have a chance. I'm hearing rumors that maybe Ten Hag might be already dropping Mount, thinking that he's not the player he thought he was. If they do play Ericsson and Fernandes, we're going to have a rough day. Even if Romero is 100% and Van de Ven plays well, we still aren't organised at the back, and Vicario is still a bit. I'd say he's like a deer in the lights at sometimes, in headlights at times, where he looks quite rash. But he did make some good saves at Brentford, some quite agile saves. And the goals he wasn't at fault for. Really, I think the defense really let him down. And for me, like he could, penalty and a goal that should have really been shut down in the past should never have made it to Wissa. There's not much he really could have done. So he'll get tested. I think this is going to be, Rashford. If they play Sancho or Garnacho or Anthony on the wings, they're going to put press high probably. They are going to attack us. They're not going to be like Brentford that sit back. They are going to go at us, which will actually, for me, I'm more excited about. I feel like, when you're trying to break a team down like Brentford, who are very well organised, they did to us what Conte wanted to do to the other teams when he was here, but we just didn't have the defensive players to do it. We had to protect the defence way too much. Their defence at Brentford was solid. I know we scored 2 goals, but you got to give credit to them. They shut down our attacking force for about 75% of the game. So with United, they do have the likes of Martinez and Varane. Wan-Bissaka's very defensive, a defensive right back. He's kind of like Royal for me. And Luke Shaw is kind of like a poor man's a Doji. Not really. Luke Shaw is a good little left back. When on his day, he can be one of the best in the league. So their defense is nothing to joke at. However, it will allow the likes of Son and Kulu and even Richarlison to have a bit more space. The only thing I'm worried about is the counter with the likes of Sancho, Rashford, Anthony and Garnacho on the counter. They are going to be quick and rapid. This is where I think Van de Ven will shine. He will be able to keep pace. It's just I don't want to have to rely on him too much. For me, I think Royal and Doji deserves a start again. I wouldn't mind if we don't play Solomon over Kulu. We play Porro, but I don't think this game warrants putting the ball in the air unless you're having Richarlison compete against Martinez due to height, because he is quite small centre back. But he is good in the air, so it's much for much, just really. But if I was Ten Hag, I'd drop Mount for Ericsson. I think Mount's kind of like our skip at the moment. Doesn't really do much with the ball. Hasn't really done much with the ball in a while, Mount. And then we have Lo Celso, who I think really should get a chance this season, even though he's linked with Real Betis, his old club, even Barcelona look like, or Napoli, 3 clubs that I've seen that have been kind of linked to him. I think he could do a job personally in that midfield next to Maddison or so I don't think he needs to replace Madison. I think he could play with Madison, and then Basuma has that defensive midfield role. However, Basuma was one of the best ball carriers in the last game, and he seemed like he was on it. So for me, if you're not going to play Lo Celso, then we need someone to sit in behind and allow Basuma to join up in attack, because he was very good. For me, he was my man of the match. I know Madison got it, but he was my man of the match. But, they do have a good bench. Martial is on the bench. Harry Maguire, Sancho Eriksson was on the bench for them against Wolves, and they'll probably be on the bench this week. But yeah, I think this is a United we can beat. Ten Hag plays some good football, but I think what we've seen from Ange, I think we can hurt them, especially being at home. The crowd's going to be up for it. They're going to like what they saw from Brentford. So I think the crowd are going to be a little more vocal. I know there is going to be a protest Levy out, and I hope that anybody who really wants something to change at this club goes. I obviously can't make that, being in Australia, but we need to support those guys. Even though, United fans have seen money and players bought, they still want the Glazers out due to, the regime, the way they've dealt with things in the past. And it's the same thing with Levy. I don't think Levy has dealt with a lot of things well. He's done everything to make money and done nothing for the football team. 15 years of no trophies is disgusting for a club that's been in the top 6, even top 4 in the last 10 to 12 years and thereabouts, and haven't done anything with it. Us as fans deserve something. So, but with my prediction, I think we're going to go 3-2. I think it's going to be an open-ended game. I think our defense is quite poor, so I think we'll leak a couple of goals. But I do think we will find something. Madison seems to be on it. I think Sonny may show up in this game. Being that first game captain away at Brentford is very hard. I feel like being at home, going to be more comfortable. We will attack more because we'll have the crowd on our side. If anybody gets dropped out of the front three, I do want it to be Richarlison, but I would also equally say Kulu, maybe even Chuck Solomon on that right-hand side, try and run at Shaw. Shaw is quite slow since he broke his leg when he was younger, and Solomon can trick him a little bit, and that's a side with Martinez. He's a good little defender, but I feel like he could, we could exploit that with Solomon down that right-hand side. Then again, saying that though, if you go at Wan-Bissaka and you have Son and Udogie pairing up against him in attack, we can see some success there. So I'm going 3-2. I think Sonny's going to get a scoreboard. I think Mads is probably going to get a goal, and I'm going to say maybe even maybe Udogie back post whip from Kulu maybe. I think we do need to play Basuma and Madison definitely. I know we don't have choice. If anything, maybe even just Højbjerg if they're not going to play the Celso. Højbjerg can play more of that defensive role and allow Basuma to move forward more with the ball, because Højbjerg's very good at shutting down play and running like an engine. In saying that, he did create a fair bit last season and score a fair couple of goals, considering that he hasn't scored that many in the careers before that, on the teams before that. So I wouldn't mind seeing Højbjerg in there if he's not on his way out to Atletico Madrid. I don't really want to see Skip. Not in this game. I think this game we need to dominate the midfield with the likes of Casemiro, Bruno. We need to pin that midfield back and stop the balls getting forward to the likes of Rashford and Garnacho and Sancho and Anthony. I think that's something we really need to do, pin them back in their own half, or keep the pressure high. And as much as Skip runs around, I feel like when we have the ball, probably not Højbjerg. I'd say probably even Sarr would be better at transitioning the ball. For me, it'd be Lo Celso though, and have Basuma as that defensive midfielder, and have him, grab the ball from the defenders and run through the middle like Dembele used to do. But let me know down below in the comments, guys, how you feel about the United game. Give me your score predictions, and if you would change the formation that I've suggested. Please make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate all the love that you guys give us. Live watch along. It's going to be probably start about 1:45 Australian Standard Time in the morning. It is an early morning game for us, but beautiful. It's on a Sunday morning, so we can all make it. And make sure you join us there. Comment, smash the comments when you're on. Let us know how you feel. And yeah, let me know your comment, your score predictions down below. Who's going to score? And guys, that's it from us here at Total Spurs. So stay safe, take it easy, and as always, stay Spursy.